august company as you sit with us for this half hour of Jamaica Magazine. And even while we're past the emancipation independence season, we're still feeling all the sense of honor, freedom and patriotism being Jamaican brings. I have some stories to tell you of how some perfectly positioned Jamaican gems help in positioning us as a true pearl of the Indies. Hi everyone, I'm Theodore Henry. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, August 25. Over 21,000 Jamaicans were vaccinated on Tuesday, making it the highest number achieved in one day since the vaccination program began in March. Approximately 40% of that number were children between 12 and 18 years. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says 17 sites were operational across 13 parishes on the day.
This is a good thing. It demonstrates that there are persons who want to be vaccinated, and I want to use the opportunity to thank the public health team for the efforts that they made during the course of the day.
Dr. Tufton says the increased take-up of vaccination comes with large crowds, and so the ministry will review the process to improve the waiting experience.
The Jamaicans who came out, some had to wait for a fairly lengthy period. Thank them for their patience. We will continue to build on the process to ensure some improvements in the efficiency of the delivery of vaccines, but also where persons have to wait to ensure that they wait in comfort.
The 4-day vaccination blitz, which ran from Saturday to Tuesday, was extended today with the AstraZeneca and Pfizer brands. Approximately 480,000 doses of COVID vaccines have now been administered as the government targets 65% of the population by March next year. Jamaica is now in receipt of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. 115,200 doses were delivered on Monday. They were procured through the African Medical Supplies Platform, AMSP, and transported to the island by UNICEF. It's the first of 2 shipments expected from AMSP this month, totaling more than 200,000 doses. The vaccines will bolster the island's inoculation program, which recently received 300,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from the United Kingdom and 208,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine from the United States. Government has instituted COVID-19 protocols for the safe resumption of cruise operations on the island. The protocols, developed by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, are being implemented by the Port Authority of Jamaica. They were used on August 16 when the island received its first cruise ship in 16 months. Cruise ports in Ocho Rios, Montego Bay and Falmouth are expected to receive calls up to October 26. In addition to the protocols, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the state has carried out inspections of the cruise piers, sensitized staff and vendors, as well as increased access to COVID-19 vaccines. Mr. Holness says his government is committed to maintaining the delicate balance between public safety and economic well-being.
That will enable persons who have had their livelihoods decimated by the pandemic to have some hope even. And at the same time, with the maintenance of the protocols, that no life is lost because of complacency or carelessness.
The Prime Minister says part of the balance to managing the pandemic is a move away from lockdowns and the embracing of vaccines.
Shutting down has serious financial implications and increases the fiscal risk to agencies and statutory bodies like the Port Authority, they are not funded by the government. They are funded by revenues generated from their operations such as cruise. And without that revenue, their balance sheet, their daily operations are imperiled.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking at the recent commissioning ceremony for the Port Authority of Jamaica's utility vessel, the Jamaica 3. A search and rescue program is being developed for Haiti. That's the word from Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett. The program is being developed by the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center in partnership with the governments of Haiti and Saudi Arabia. In an interview with JIS News, Mr. Bartlett says the center has been assisting Haiti in its rebounding efforts following a 7.2 magnitude earthquake and the passage of Tropical Storm Grace.
We have been able to pull Global Rescue, which is one of the leading world organizations that deal with rescue and search operations and focus a lot on mega disruptions like earthquakes and, hurricanes and so on. Together, we have a very strong response and we'll be able to help Haiti to recover quickly and be able to get their tourism back on track.
Minister of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change, Colonel Charles Jr., is calling for the urgent implementation and enforcement of the development orders. Minister Charles Jr. also called for the establishment of no-build zones on the island. The minister's plea follows the devastating 7.2 magnitude earthquake which struck Haiti on August 18. The quake was felt in other countries in the Northern Caribbean, including Jamaica, which shares the Plantain Garden geological fault with Haiti. While offering condolences to the government and people of Haiti on the loss of lives and the destruction caused, Minister Charles says the disaster brings into sharp focus the need for increased resilience in the region. This, he says, requires that Jamaica intensifies its efforts to incorporate best practices and technological advances in the renewal and development of infrastructure. In addition to the enforcement of development orders, Mr. Charles says his ministry will continuously review legislation and policies governing construction, building codes, and approvals. And finally, Sport Minister Olivia Grange says government will soon be partnering with the Kenyan government to train some of our island's athletes. The minister made the announcement ahead of Jamaica's participation in the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Nairobi, Kenya recently.
The president of Kenya visited Jamaica for our independence celebrations 2 years ago. And out of that, we have had discussions where we are going to partner, we're going to do exchanges. Athletes from Kenya will be coming to Jamaica to train, and they have offered to train our middle and long distance runners.
The Jamaican team placed 5th on the medal table, securing 3 gold, 6 silver and 2 bronze medals. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
When your turn comes for the vaccine, please take the vaccine. It is absolutely important. For those who have hesitancy and fear, and all of that is legitimate, it's healthy. But I believe we have seen the vaccine at work. We know what the risks are. There are no riskless activities in life. We urge you to participate in the national program and get vaccinated.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
For many years, bauxite sat as a true Jamaican gem with a history that dates as far back as 1952. In highlighting the history of this resource, we'll also share the developments of the industry and how it propelled our economy. Here's mining in the Pearl of the Antilles.
Bauxite has been a stallion in the economic development of Jamaica from 1952, when the country made its first shipment of the product. Pulled from the womb of our earth, labeled as the rich red soil, though closely resembling a burnt orange or reddish-brown color based on how your eyes see it. This precious mineral is conceived with the continuous fulfilled hope of bringing money, major investments, manpower, and however you put it, massive rewards to our island.
Bauxite is the ore from which the metal aluminum is extracted. Aluminum is a very, very important metal worldwide because of the lightweight and the fact that it doesn't corrode as easily as iron. The first shipment of bauxite was out of Ocho Rios by Reynolds Jamaica Mines in 1952. A year later, Kaiser also began exporting bauxite out of Port Kaiser in St. Elizabeth. and a number of other companies followed after that. Alcan set up their refinery at Kirkvine, and were shipping bauxite out of Port Esquivel by 1954. Then the Alcoa plant at Halsall, and the last refinery to be built was Nain, Alpart refinery at Nain.
It was the beginning of the viable mining of the ore, and history tells us how its development filled the coffers of our small island home. Or did it?
Jamaica has been an important player in the bauxite industry since the 1950s. We were actually originally the largest producer. The important role of bauxite in our economy is the revenue that the country has earned over the years from the bauxite industry. Provide employment, we upgrade the work skills of our people so that we now have a lot of skilled workers in the bauxite industry. And there's a trickle-down effect on the economy, because the more employment there is, the more spending power people have. In the 70s, the government began to play a more active role in the bauxite industry. So they began to acquire a piece of the action for the nation's benefit. And a levy was imposed in 1974, from which we benefited financially from production of bauxite. The government began to buy shares into some of these companies. Even though they were not the managing partners, we began to acquire a piece of the action for ourselves. The levy just allowed us to have a bigger piece of the pie.
And while the production of the mineral was still booming, by 1974, the country had taken a small step back to become the second largest producer of bauxite in the world, just behind Australia.
So Australia overtook us just by virtue of scale. It's a huge country with a lot of reserves and good quality reserves, easy to mine. In terms of production, we are ranked 6th in the world now, behind Australia, China, Brazil, India, and Guinea. So our production is in the region of about 10 million tons per year, and we're comparing to Australia that's producing in excess of 80 million tons. We have some challenges that these other countries don't have. For example, we are always mining in populated areas. So our industry has to always be mindful of the local communities and find ways to work with them in order to continue producing bauxite.
But despite that, the commercial mining of bauxite continues to be one of the most important contributors to the economic development of Jamaica, accounting for about 10% of gross domestic product, GDP. In addition to that, the industry represents one of the largest gross earners of foreign exchange for Jamaica.
As long as human beings require resources, they will try to extract it wherever they can. The consumption of aluminum is going up, so I see as long as we have reserves available here, I expect that mining will continue. For at least the next 30 to 40 years, we should have enough reserves to continue at our present capacity.
The Cannabis Licensing Authority is committed to supporting the creation of a regulatory framework for the growth and sustainability of Jamaica's medical cannabis industry. We carefully assess application forms for businesses and individuals interested in becoming partners in the industry. Along with other ministries, departments of government and agencies, the authority endeavors to preserve the integrity of the industry through compliance. This is all done to ensure that the industry is operating in conformity with Jamaica's international obligations. Call or visit our website to find out more about the work of the Cannabis Licensing Authority.
Our Jamaica offers so much to those here and those from the furthest corners of the globe. If you're planning to enjoy some Jamaican attractions, here's a look at what the Ministry of Tourism is doing to improve the sector's offerings.
Unprecedented times call for unprecedented moves. With a $1.5 billion loss to the tourism industry, government has adopted an age-old business strategy to engineer a rebound of Jamaica's #1 foreign exchange earner.
The strategic framework for resetting Jamaica's tourism will be guided by the Blue Ocean Strategy, which will allow us to meet our growth targets of 5 million visitors, earning $5 billion, and to provide 5,000 new rooms by 2025.
Economists have for years touted the benefits of the Blue Ocean strategy. This business model is about creating and capturing new demand in non-existent areas. It is establishing new markets to the point of changing the desires of consumer demand. This act can differentiate a player in an industry and eliminate the competition. This is the current strategy of Jamaica's Ministry of Tourism to reclaim and exceed what it has lost during the pandemic.
A Blue Ocean strategy calls for the creation of business models that depart from the traditional models based on head-to-head competition and gaining market share. Instead, it will see our ministry pursuing enhanced value creation through production differentiation and diversification.
The Tourism Ministry is known for developing innovative responses to crises, which often garner global recognition. The Tourism COVID-19 Resilient Corridor Program, established in the height of the pandemic and allowed for controlled movement within tourism-dependent locations, received commendations from the UNWTO. The moniker Gen Z Traveler, coined by the ministry to describe vacationers whose experiences and expectations have been shaped by the health and safety risks of the pandemic, is being used by international stakeholders. The Tourism Ministry expects that its Blue Ocean strategy will receive similar accolades and reap tremendous rewards for the island.
It will require a shift in the mindset as we seek to uncover hidden opportunities in the tourism industry amid the COVID-era economic crisis.
The implementation of the Tourism Blue Ocean strategy consists of a 6-step plan: expanding markets and go-to-market channels, developing new tourism products, expanding tourism community focus, maximizing linkages across all local industries, promoting resilience and sustainability, and providing destination assurance.
This new strategy, the Blue Ocean strategy we're talking about, is focusing now on how to build the capacity of the Jamaica economy to supply the goods and services that the industry needs, and in so doing, reduce the outflow of dollars into other destinations.
Only 40 cents of every tourism dollar is retained in the country, while just 20% of tourism agricultural demand is supplied locally.
The study that we have done so far indicate that agriculture, just for fresh fruits and vegetables alone, has a demand of 67 billion Jamaican dollars. And on the manufacturing side, there is a demand already established for $360 billion.
To plug the gap, the Blue Ocean strategy will focus on expanding the work of the Tourism Linkages Network. Committees and working groups have been formed to work closely with resorts and hoteliers.
In this new Blue Ocean strategy, we are going to change the production and consumption patterns of tourism in favor of a heavier level of retention of the US dollar in the Jamaican space, and in the process create more jobs. This resetting of the industry is to broaden its scope and activities to enable a wider breadth of employment opportunities, and also to expand the variety of skill sets that are attendant on tourism activities. It is to make the world and Jamaica understands better how a real tourism economy can in fact be structured, and why is it that tourism remains the most critical restoration action that any economy can embrace.
Here's one more local natural space that offers so much beauty, knowledge, and the opportunity to ease your mind. Jump on this boat with us as we head to the Black River Morass, the island's largest wetland area with an even larger history. Learn more next.
The Black River Morass is actually the largest wetland area in Jamaica. The upper morass was used for planting rice some years ago. That has ceased, and as a result, we have lost that area. But the lower morass is still here, and it provides not just a safari boat tour, but shrimping, fishing, and there's a lot of bird life still in the lower morass. It has been declared a wetland of international importance, a Ramsar site.
The Black River Morass is home to hundreds of crocodiles, vegetation, and other aquatic animals. Through guided tours offered along the river, you can glide upstream to learn more about the wetlands and all its inhabitants.
Welcome on board the Safari Diva and welcome to the Black River Safari. My name is Roger and I'll be your captain and also your tour guide. Our trip will take us approximately 4 kilometers upstream, during which I'll show you some birds, wetland vegetation, and some of our very friendly crocodiles. Presently, we're on the Black River, and this is Jamaica's longest navigable river. It is 44 miles long, about 70 kilometers. Well, surrounding us, we have over 21,000 acres of swamp, and this is the largest wetlands in the Caribbean. It is also home for over 65 different species of birds. 17 years ago, it was estimated there was a little bit over 100 crocodiles living within the area. And since then, their number have increased as they are on the endangered species list. They were once hunted for their skin to make a nice shoes or a good handbag. They are protected. No hunting of crocodiles in Jamaica. Well, they are part of our heritage. They're on our coat of arms with the crocodiles at the top, Indians at the side.
Unlike what we may believe in Jamaica, our crocodile here, Crocodilus acutus, is one of the most docile of the crocodilian species. The thing about it is that they help to cull the fish population, the animals, the fish that are diseased or the fish that are dead, they will eat them and so on. So that it's well worth having those crocodiles here within our wetland areas.
These birds you are looking at, they are called egret, commonly known as galling. The reason for the birds to nest in this location, behind us, this is our local fish market. So once those small boat comes from sea, they'll have some food to get. In the river, we can catch big fish like tarpon. Those can get up to 200 pounds. And snook, which is a very good eating fish, can get up to 50 pounds. And the African perch, mullet, snapper, several different types. It's very good for fishing. So by the shallow edge of the river, it is also the main habitat for our freshwater shrimp. This little device I have here, this is called a shrimp trap. It is made from the bamboo plant. We'll use for bait roasted coconut, oranges, or even a piece of chicken. Now once the shrimp goes in, it's difficult for them to go out. The conical shape helps to keep them in. So we'll just hold it and twist it. It opens up so we can shake them out. It's actually very simple, but it is effective. The design came from West Africa over 200 years ago, and it is still used today. The vegetation or trees, they are called mangrove, which we have two types of mangroves tree, white and red. White mangrove, small leaves, and they are brighter in color. Red mangrove have much bigger leaves and also have those aerial root that goes into the water. It takes up all the minerals and nutrients for the tree. This section of the river we're entering, we call here Mangrove Avenue, as it forms a canopy similar to our Bamboo Avenue. These are all red mangrove trees, the ones that have the roots going into the water. In the early 1900s, the bark or skin of red mangrove was used for making a type of dye which we call tannin.
Did you know that the water in the Black River is actually clear? The river got its name due to the dark shade created by the presence of peat soil on the riverbed.
Peat soil, which is at the bed of the river, that is giving off the dark reflection, it also have its advantage and its disadvantage. The advantage, whenever time we have heavy rainfall or during hurricane, the soil, it acts as a sponge which absorbs the excess water. So we have no flooding activity within the area. However, when the water level gets too low, the peat soil, it gives off the methane gas, and with the help of sunlight, it will ignite.
There are many different types of wetlands. In Jamaica, the most common wetlands are coastal mangroves, morasses, lakes, and ponds. For more information on the Black River Morass and all the other wetland areas in Jamaica, visit the National Environment and Planning Agency's website at www.nepa.gov.jm.
Now, I'm almost certain that we've given you enough reasons to love this, our island home, but that storyline continues. Curious about other water treasures in Jamaica? Well, here it is. Number 1, Reach Falls. Reach Falls is located in Portland, and it's filled with many natural holes carved out by the water. Some will even take you to a secret underwater cave that leads to the main pool. Number 2, Luminous Lagoon. Now, this gem, located in Falmouth, glistens a blue color as a result of the microorganisms that fill the waters, giving off a luminous effect at night. You can get a chance to see this up close by taking a tour of the lagoon. The third place is Windsor Mineral Spring. Now, head to St. Anne's Bay to find this watery treasure that may at first glance look like a typical spring, but look much closer and you'll realize a small section of the spring can actually catch fire, believed to be caused by a high concentration of sulfur in the water. Number 4 is Lime Key. For your weekend getaway, this is another good option. It's a 15-minute boat ride from Port Royal, and that takes you to Lime Key, which is a small island off the coast of Kingston, where you can really enjoy some Jamaican sea and sand. In addition to enjoying these gems, we should also make it our responsibility to preserve these places. By doing this, we are helping to make our country the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. After all that learning, touring, and just enjoying the beauty of Jamaica, we put the final pause here for today's show. Thanks for sticking through the Jamaica Magazine journey. A refresher of yesterday's journey and others can be had through the JIS YouTube channel, and visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.